Bonjour! My name is David DeVere. I'm a wine educator and traveler, and you're watching Savvy Nomad TV, the Eau de Vie edition. Today is December 21st, 2021. Wow, that's a lot of ones and twos. Anyway, it's solstice today. The world is on full tilt. Hasn't it felt like that for the last few years? Anyway, let's see what the Costco wine box has got for us today. Happy solstice. Okay, if you are new here, you can click the playlist to watch the previous 20 episodes. Or who knows when you're watching this, maybe there'll be 24 episodes by then. Anyway, let's see what day 21 is. My box is looking really bad. Here's 21 up here. Let's see if I can get this open without destroying 22 below it. That's tomorrow. All right, inside, it's a red wine. It's from Portugal. We've got a red blend. Okay, these are interesting grape varieties. Let's try this one. I think I am finally starting to see a pattern in the Costco wine box. You've got a red and a white from specific regions. We've had a white Côte de Gascon, a red Côte de Gascon. We've had a white Bulgarian wine. We've had a red Bulgarian wine. We've had a Spanish Macabeo. We've had a Spanish blended red. We've had a Portuguese white. Now we have a Portuguese red. Okay, I'm starting to see the pattern. It's only taken me 21 days, but I finally can see it clearly. Anyway, our Portuguese red has three grape varieties: Aragonez, Castelao and Alicante Bouchet. If you look at the back label, you can see that Aragonez is 40%, Castelao is 40%, and Alicante Bouchet is 20%. All right, what do we know about these three grape varieties? Aragonez is the Portuguese name for Tempranillo. Tempranillo is our signature Spanish red wine, our red grape. It's made in our Riojas. Castelao is Portugal's signature red grape. It's grown everywhere in Portugal, and I don't believe it's really grown anywhere else. I think it is the base ingredient for Portuguese signature wine, which is a sweet dessert wine called port. Alicante Bouchet. That's a little bit different. Alicante Bouchet was developed by a man named Henry. The French do not pronounce H's. So Henri in French is Henry in English. Henri Bouchet developed this wine, this grape in the 1850s. And it was very popular in the south of France where he lived. And it was resistant to phylloxera. Okay, let's talk about phylloxera. You might have come across this in some of your reading or researching about wines. Here's what happened very briefly. In the 1850s or so, a bug came on some North American rootstock, probably on roses, came to Europe. That was called a root louse. That root louse got into grapes. The European grape variety is different from North American grape varieties. So the bug was like, hey, this is awesome. There's a whole bunch of things here that have never been infected by me. I'm going to spread like crazy. Does this sound familiar? Yeah. Well, anyway, the root louse creates a little scar on the root of the grape. This prevents nutrients from coming up from the soil. So eventually the top of the grape dies and you have no grapes. The solution to this, and by the way, phylloxera devastated the entire European grape industry. They went nuts. Everybody got laid off. They tried all kinds of wacky things like wiping tar on the leaves. I mean, every kind of witch doctory remedy was tried. But the solution was to go to American grape stock, which is a different subspecies of grapes, take American rootstock and graft that onto European rootstock And since American rootstock evolved with the Phylloxera louse, the root louse, they are resistant to it. This solved the problem. If you graft American rootstock onto European grapes, you have a Phylloxera-resistant grape. And that's what the world has been doing ever since. Alicante Bouchet is naturally resistant to Phylloxera. All right, so now you know. This red blend is unique to Portugal. I've never tried this before, and who knows if you could actually buy this in the store. Anyway, enough talking. Okay, so I filled out the top of my tasting card, day 21 on 12/21/21. Wow. All right, my temperature is 57.3 degrees. That sounds okay. Let's open this up. Now, Portugal, their signature wine for many years has been port, which is a sweet, sticky, unctuous red dessert wine. It's quite popular. It was popular with British people. It was exported mostly to England, and it was a lot of the Portuguese houses that produced port were owned by British merchants. Though the way that they make port, and they still make it to this day, is they do what they call field blends. The entire field will be planted with who knows what. And when something dies, they just pluck it out and they grab another grape and they pluck it back in. And the blend that makes up that field, those individual grapes are not actually known. It's a blend of this field, and some fields are better than others. It makes better port than others. Now, I'm sure that the port industry has become a little more sophisticated than just, oh, harvest that field and figure it out. But some of the finest ports are still considered to be from this field, from that field blend. And so you don't know. And so the Portuguese kind of have this long tradition of taking whatever's in the field, harvesting it, macerating it, fermenting it, and drinking it. And really, what more do you need? That's about it. Okay, let's look at this. It's nice and deep in color. It's quite dark. I think it's more purplish than red. And I'm going to go deep in color. Okay. Probably aged in oak, I would imagine. Let's smell it. Fresh fruits, like berries. Obviously, we've got a lot of red fruits. Probably more blueberries or blackberries rather than cherries. I can smell a little bit of the oak vanilla in there. I can smell a little bit of alcohol. There's a little bit of solvent aroma. It's more fresh than sour. Okay, so red fruit, I'll give it a 6. Let's taste it. Okay, dry or sweet? It's dry. I don't even know why I have all these other qualifiers on here. We never circle anything other than dry. Body is medium. Acidity, I'm going to go, oh, it could be smooth. I'm going to go fresh because there is a little bit of crispness to it, and my mouth did water from the acidity. Nice level of acidity here. I'm going to say 8. Balance, I'm going to have to take another taste. The alcohol is not distinguishable. That's good. The acidity is nice. The tannins are grippy. but fine, and the sugars are not overdone or underdone. Good balance. I'm going to give it an 8. Now, complexity. I did notice something coming at the end. There was a little bit of some type of candied fruit flavor. Maybe like a Jolly Rancher, red Jolly Rancher flavor. A little bit of a sweetness, a little bit maybe of a strawberry, or could it even maybe be a candied watermelon? That's interesting. I like it. I'm going to give it a 7. And finish in length. The finish is nice. It's a medium longish finish, so I'll circle the medium with an arrow toward the long. Does it add to the sensation? Yes, it does. I'm going to give it a 7 for that. Okay, this scored up pretty good. I'm going to go do my math. Here are my final scores for our day 21, our Portuguese field blend. Well, these 3 grapes. Aroma 6, acidity 8, balance 8, 7 for complexity, 7 for finish and length, 36 points. Add that to 50 and you've got 86. Now I call it a field blend because that's what the Portuguese are really doing in most of their grapes. You can't go to the store and find a bottle of Portuguese wine labeled like this. You would go and find one labeled as a Douro or something like that, meaning it's from that region. And it's a field blend, and they can be kind of hit and miss. Some of them are quite good, and some are more average. Portugal is more known for its port, its ruby and tawny ports, which are fortified sweet dessert wines. They're quite nice. I like them quite a lot. If you'd be interested in learning more about port, leave me a comment down below saying so, and I'll do a port class in the new year. Well, until then, I'm going to say happy solstice to you and happy solstice to everybody else out there. If you liked this video, leave me a thumbs up. If you are new here, consider subscribing. And if you like this wine or didn't like the wine, leave me a comment down below. If you want to see a port class, leave me a comment down below. And until tomorrow, until the world goes back on tilt the other way, I say happy solstice, à toute l'heure, and cheers.
Hello, happy solstice. Red blend from Portugal. Smells like red wine. Wait a minute. I mean, it smells fruity and berry-y, but I might get a tiny hint of rubber or something weird like that. Burnt rubber? Well, let's taste it. Not a lot of tannins that I can tell. I think high acid is making my mouth water. Well, I do notice its legs quite a bit, so that's funny because it feels thinner in my mouth, but that would indicate a slightly thicker body. So now I feel confused. I'd say it has high acid. I think it would go fine with food. Cheers and happy solstice again.